Hi, if you want to watch exclusive content with hot girls that you won't watch on YouTube, namely where Naruto roasts Kushina and Mikoto and many other hot girls without restrictions, then visit my Boosty channel at the link in the description. October 10th, Konoha. For most of the people of Konoha, it was an ordinary day, but for the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, and his wife, the Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed demon fox, Kushina Uzumaki, it was supposed to be the best day of their lives. Today was the day their son, Naruto, was to be born. And everything would be fine, but as soon as Naruto was born, he found himself in the arms of a stranger. "Get away from Minato's Jinchuriki or your child will get hurt," said the masked stranger. "Wait, give me the child," said the nervous fourth. "You have made your choice," the stranger said, and then drew a kunai across the baby's eye. "And no," Minato shouted, and then at full speed he grabbed the child and teleported to his house. Placing his child on the bed, he teleported again, this time to Kushina. As soon as Minato took the child, the stranger began extracting the nine tails. As soon as the nine tails appeared, the stranger subdued it with his Sharingan and transported it to the village, ordering it to attack. As soon as the nine-tailed beast disappeared, Minato appeared in front of the stranger and began to fight him. No matter how hard Minato tried to hurt his opponent, all the blows passed through him. "Who are you?" Minato asked, wanting to know how strong his opponent was. "It doesn't matter," said the stranger, continuing to attack. Minato threw a kunai with Hiraishin behind the stranger's back, and ran at him with Rasengan, and when there was only a meter between them, Minato teleported to the kunai, and then with a quick movement tore out the stranger's Sharingan. The masked man fell to one knee from such surprise, and Minato, without wasting time, cut the stranger's throat. But when he took off his mask, he fell to his knees. Memories of his team began to surface before Minato. The ever-serious, yet very strong Hatake Kakashi. The caring, yet talented and Irian ninjutsu Rin Noira. And of course, the cheerful and clumsy boy named Uchiha Obito. Rin died when the Three Tails was sealed into her. Kakashi became an elite jounin. And Obito, as everyone thought, died under the rubble. But now his student lay before the Hokage. Minato could sit over Obito's body for a long time, but after hearing the roar of the Nine Tails, he quickly came to his senses. When half of Konoha was in ruins, the Sharingan in the demon's eyes disappeared and he quickly came to his senses. Looking around, he realized what was happening and tried to escape, but to his regret, the chakra chains wrapped around him. Kushina grabbed the Nine Tails with her chains and at that moment, Minato appeared next to her. "He needs to be sealed urgently, and you know who," Minato said with some sadness on his face. Kushina realized that the only one in Konoha who could now withstand the sealing of the demon within himself was Naruto, their newborn son. Minato disappeared again in a yellow flash, and he returned with a child in his arms. The child had wheat-colored hair and sky-colored eyes. But instead of his right eye, there was a vertical scar left by Obito. Minato took out the Sharingan he had snatched from Obito. 18. And so, when all the funerals were over, people began to go home. But Kakashi did not go to his home, where he could be alone. No, he had to go to a meeting. Konoha Assembly. "Hiruzen, give me the Jinchuriki. I will make it into a perfect weapon," Shimura Danzo shouted to the entire council. "You'll only get the child over my dead body, Danzo," Fugaku shouted. After all, Minato was his best friend and the Uchiha couldn't allow the child of his dead best friend to go to such a rotten person like Danzo. "I can arrange, Fugaku," Danzo said and was already reaching for his weapon, but Hiruzen's shout made him stop. "Quiet everyone," Hiruzen shouted. He had enough problems as it was. The last thing he needed was a civil war. "Danzo, I can't give you Minato's child, I'm sorry." "Great, then the child will live with us. There are two reasons for this. Firstly, our families have been best friends since school days. And secondly, the child has a Sharingan and only the Uchihas will be able to fully reveal its potential," Fugaku said, but was cut off by Danzo. "If I can't get it, then how are the Uchihas any better? Especially since they saw the Sharingan on Lisa. How do you explain that?" Danzo said. "It's simple, the Biju can only be controlled by the Mangekyo Sharingan, and only I and a couple of other Uchiha have one, but a lot of people saw them on the front lines, so we are not guilty," Fugaku answered. That's true, but you can't explain it to all people, so they will be unhappy if the Uchiha have a Jinchuriki, so I propose Hatake Kakashi for the role of guardian. He is an elite jounin of Konoha, was a student of Minato and was close to his family. He also has a Sharingan, and in general, in my opinion, he is the best candidate, so who is for it? Asked the strategist of Konoha Shikakunara. Almost all the jounin raised their hands in response to his proposal, absolutely all the clan heads, only Danzo and the elders remained against it. What do you think, Kakashi? Are you ready to bear this burden? Hiruzen asked, narrowing his eyes. I'm ready, and for me this is not a burden, but a gift, Kakashi said. Well then, I declare that the guardian of the Jinchuriki will be the lit jounin of Konoha Hatake Kakashi. Hiruzen finished the meeting. Kakashi then took young Naruto and went to his home. While he was walking, he had some vague thoughts. On the one hand, he was scared, no, not because he would be raising a Jinchuriki, but because he was afraid of causing any harm to the child. But on the other hand, he was infinitely happy that he would be raising his teacher's son. And with such thoughts he reached his house. The house was not big, since Kakashi used to live alone. When he entered, he laid Naruto on the bed. Naruto smiled, looking at Kakashi with his sky-blue eye and three-toned Sharingan. Kakashi smiled back and Naruto began to fall asleep. Kakashi also went to bed, since now he would have to raise a child and this meant that he would not have much time to sleep. Naruto grew up as a genius. At the age of 6 months he learned to walk, at 1.5 years he ran and jumped, and at 2.5 years he already knew how to speak, read and write. Hatake was proud of him, because in terms of genius, the boy surpassed Shisui and Itachi. By the way, these two were Naruto's closest friends. After all, both Itachi and Shisui served in Umbu with Kakashi and were well acquainted. Now Naruto is 3 and he is walking along the streets of Konoha. Kakashi was called away for an urgent mission, so Naruto got bored sitting alone at home and decided to take a walk to the library. To find out how to get there, he had to ask passers-by. Some passers-by looked at him with incredible hatred, some even tried to hit him, but there were also those who simply showed him the way. And so, after much wandering, he finally found the library. When he entered, the librarian called him over. "Boy, are you lost?" asked the librarian, thinking that the boy had simply fallen behind his parents. "No, I came to read," Naruto said and smiled with all his teeth. The librarian was shocked that a boy of about 3 years old could speak so calmly, and also seemed to know how to read. Are you sure you can read already?" asked the librarian. "Of course, I can read and write," Naruto answered and smiled again. To say that the librarian was shocked is to say nothing. A 3-year-old boy can read and write, what a genius you have to be. "Okay, what books do you need?" the librarian asked, still in shock. "Books about the history of shinobi, chakra and all that stuff," Naruto said, finishing off the librarian. "Oh, okay, I'll go and show you around," the librarian said, stuttering, and went to the shelves with books on the art of shinobi. The next 5 hours, Naruto studied all the books. He had a very good memory, so he grasped everything on the fly. So, he learned about the history of shinobi art, as well as what chakra is and how to awaken it. Having learned everything, he said goodbye to the librarian, promising to come again, and went to their home training ground. By the way, Kakashi still bought a bigger house, even with its own training ground. And so, when he ran to the training ground, he sat in the lotus position and began to meditate. After 2 hours of meditation, his chakra finally awakened. As soon as it awakened, Naruto fell down without strength. After lying there for about 15 minutes, he heard the front door of the house open, which meant that Kakashi had returned. Naruto walked up to him and hugged him. "Naruto, what did you do today?" Kakashi asked, making an eye smile. "Well, I went to the library, read about shinobi, and also awakened the chakra center," Naruto said and smiled with 32 teeth. What did you do?" Kakashi asked, shocked. "The hearth has awakened, the hearing, Dad, can I start training?" Naruto asked. Kakashi stood there and couldn't say anything. A child of 3 years awakened the chakra center. Even he, Shisui and Itachi awakened it only at 5 to 6. His main teachers will be me, Shisui and Itachi, while 2 are on missions. The third will train Naruto. Kakashi thought, and said out loud, "Well, since you're such a genius, then Shursui, Itachi and I will train you in turns." "Yay!" Naruto shouted and jumped for joy. And Kakashi made an eye smile and went into the house himself, thinking that from tomorrow his son would have to start training. The next morning, Kakashi shocked Shursui and Itachi with the news that Naruto had awakened his chakra core. The two happily agreed to train the boy. And so Naruto and his adoptive father were on their home field. "So Naruto, we'll start with physical training. First, you'll need to run 30 laps, do 50 squats, 50 push-ups, and 50 sit-ups," Kakashi said and sat down near a tree, and Naruto muttered something about too much stress and went to do the exercises. As soon as he finished the exercises, he fell on the grass and after lying there for 10 minutes, he approached Kakashi, who was reading. "Dad, what's next?" Naruto asked. Now meditation, your task will be to sit in the lotus position and disperse the chakra through the channels. This will increase the level of chakra and its control," Kakashi answered, without looking up from the book. 2 hours later, Shursui and Itachi arrived. "Hello Naruto, Kakashi," Shursui and Itachi said in unison. "Oh, Shursui, Itachi, will you teach me super cool techniques?" Naruto asked with stars in his eyes. "Not yet, Naruto. Today we will throw kunai and shuriken, and also start learning kenjutsu," Shursui answered. Okay, that's useful too," Naruto said and went after Shursui and Itachi. A year passed with such training. Naruto's level of throwing and kenjutsu rose to the level of a weak genin. But his chakra was like that of an average chunin. This was the effect of the fact that he was Uzumaki, as well as the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. But because of the abundance of chakra, his control was poor, but Naruto did not lose heart and still improved it. Physical training was also at the level of a weak genin. And today, all three gathered at the training ground for an important matter. "So, Naruto, today we will learn your elements, and also begin training in techniques," Kakashi said with an eye smile. "Finally!" Naruto said cheerfully. "So, squeeze these pieces of paper between your fingers and pass chakra through them," Hitaki said and handed him 5 pieces of paper. Naruto did as he was told, and when everyone saw what happened, they almost fell over on the spot. The first piece of paper burned, the second crumpled, and the third became covered with a thin crust. Not possible. 2 elements are okay, but an improved tree genome? How? Itachi said stutteringly. Kakashi thought for a moment, then answered so Naruto couldn't hear him. Well, he got Raidon from his parents, and Katan from the fox. Well, about Mokutan. Most likely, since half of Obito's body consisted of the first cells, they were passed on to Naruto. But still, at the moment, he will hardly be able to control him, because there were not so many cells. Therefore, in a few years, I will ask Tenza to develop Hashirama-sama's cells into Naruto. Meanwhile, Naruto, not paying attention to the adults' conversations, was jumping for joy, because he had 2 elements, and also the improved genome of the first Hokage. Phew, okay, Naruto, Itachi will teach you Katanu, I will teach you Reitonu, and Shursui will teach you elemental techniques. We will ask Guy to teach you Taijutsu, and the 3 of us will teach you Kenjutsu. We will also teach you how to use the Sharingan to start with, so that you can remember the techniques better and copy them, since you have as many as 3 Tomo. Kakashi said, and they began training. A year had passed since the training began. Now 2 people were walking along the streets of Konoha. One of them was wearing a Jounin vest and his name was Hitaki Kakashi. The second was a small copy of the first. He looked about 7 years old due to intense training. He was dressed in an Anbu uniform, specially tailored for him. Half of his face was hidden by a mask like Kakashi's, and his right eye was hidden by an eye patch. There were pouches and a tanto hanging from his belt. His hair was like little Kakashi's. Let's talk a little about his abilities. Physical training and taijutsu as a strong genin. Kenjutsu and throwing are at the level of a strong genin. Elementless techniques, henge, replacement, illusionary cloning, shadow cloning, multiple shadow cloning, shunshin, Rasengan, body flicker. Flashback. Listen, Naruto, do you know why they call me Shursui of the body flicker? Shursui asked. Maybe for that technique you once showed? He either asked or approved the Jinchuriki. That's right, this is my strongest technique that I created myself. It is based on Shunshin, but if Shunshin is made for quick movement somewhere, then Body Flicker is made for combat. So far, only I have fully mastered it, but I am sure that with your genius, you will quickly master this technique. Shursui told about his technique. Cool, let's get started, Naruto replied, removing the bandage from his right eye. A week later, Naruto was able to master the technique, although he was very far from Shursui's level, but still this technique became his favorite. ENB flashback. They decided to start training Sharingan and Mokutan after entering the academy. Now let's talk about elemental techniques. Kato, Fireball, Ring of Fire, Phoenix Flowers, releases up to 4 balls, can cover a sword with fire. Yes, there was no such thing in canon, but who needs it? Raiton, Chidori, Electric Projectile, Discharge, Lightning Dog, Ball Lightning, can cover his sword with lightning. And now we are transported back to the walking couple. Well, Dad, maybe I don't need to go to this kindergarten called Shinobi Academy. I know their course by heart, and even more, said an irritated Naruto, because today Kakashi is taking him to the Shinobi Academy. Naruto, there are several reasons why you are going there. The first is the elders. They should not know about your power. The second is friends. You need to make friends, and the third is missions. You will not be given a command until your peers graduate from the academy, and this means that you will only carry out D-rank missions. Kakashi finished explaining. Well, elders and missions are yes, but I do have friends, Shursui, Itachi and Sasuke. Once Itachi took his younger brother to training, so Naruto and Sasuke became friends. That's true, but you'll still need to have more friends. For example, for the team, since it consists of 3 genin and 1 jounin mentor. Let's say that I'm the mentor, and Sasuke is one of my teammates. But even on your team there will be one more person, and Itachi and Shursui have long been jounin, so they won't work. Kakashi answered. And yes, that's all Naruto could answer. As soon as they approached the academy, they saw the Uchiha family. Yo! Both Atakis greeted each other in their own manner. Long time no see, Kakashi, Naruto, said Fugaku, serious as always, but inside he was happy that his friend's son was okay. Itachi just smiled warmly, and Sasuke smiled happily from ear to ear and said, Hello Kakashi-san, hello Naruto. How I hope that you and I will end up in the same class. Just like me, Naruto answered and made an eye smile. How can they and Kakashi smile with one eye? The Uchiha family thought at the same time. Here the third Hokage stepped onto the impromptu stage and began his tirade about the will of fire. Naruto listened to all this with half an ear. He was much more interested in who would end up in the same class with him. Since he was a Jinchuriki, he would most likely end up in the same class with the clan members. And so, when the third one finished, the Chunins came out and started to sort the children. As Naruto had expected, he ended up with the clan members. His teacher turned out to be a Chunin named Irika. The Chunin himself was unremarkable, except for a scar on the bridge of his nose. And so, when everyone gathered in the classroom, the teacher told everyone to introduce themselves. Most were uninteresting. But there were those who caught Naruto's attention. My name is Shikamaru Nara, I'm 5. My hobby is sleeping, my interests are sleep, my goal is to sleep, and my dream is to become a cloud. My name is Uchiha Sasuke, I'm 5. I like training with my brother and my best friend Naruto. I don't like traitors. My goal and dream is to become as strong as Naruto. My name is Chuchu Akimichi Chuji. I like to eat, but I don't like not eating. Chuchu. There were a few other clan children, but these were the ones that Naruto remembered. And so, when the other children introduced themselves, the Chunin's face twisted and he said Naruto's name. My name is Naruto Hataki. There are things I love and things I hate. There is no goal as such, but a dream, said Naru and went back to his place. But he only said his name, thought the whole class. Okay, there won't be classes today, they'll start tomorrow, Irika said and left. Comment to part 4. Here is the new part. Having analyzed my strengths, I decided that I will release chapters approximately once a week. equals 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 part 5 equals 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 equals. The days at the academy were boring. Since Naruto knew almost the entire course of the academy, he mostly slept during classes. After a week, he had already become friends with Shikamaru and Chuji. Because of the elders, he had to hide his strength, so in class he proved himself to be a weak idiot, and because of this, many clan members did not want to deal with him. After a couple of months, Kakashi allowed Naruto to send shadow clones to the academy and continue training himself. To begin with, they decided to start training the Sharingan, because it would be much easier to learn Mokutan techniques with it. Every day, 2 Uchihas came to the Hatake house Itachi and Shursui. Since Naruto was not a member of the Uchiha clan, he could not deactivate the Sharingan, so even despite the chakra of the Kyuubi and Uzumaki, he still fell after a minute of using the Sharingan. Naru, in order to not switch off from using the Sharingan, you need very good chakra control. Your father received an undeveloped Sharingan, so it is easier for him to control it, but you received a finished product, so you will have to train a lot. In order to be able to use it better, you must master 4 stages. 1. You must be able to turn off the chakra from the eye. You won't be able to deactivate it, of course, but this way you will reduce the chakra loss to a minimum. 2. You must learn to feed chakra into the eye for 1 tomo. 3. For 2 volumes. 3. For 3 volumes. Once you have mastered all 4 stages, you will only use the first one to stop chakra and the 4th one to use the 3rd tomo. You also have a Manjikyu Sharingan, but if you try to activate it just like that, you can damage it, so you will have to awaken it like the rest of the Uchihas by the death of a loved one. Itachi finished his lecture. Yeah, if I have to pay so much for this power, then I'd rather give it up. 3 tomo will be enough for me, Databeo Naruto shouted in his usual manner. Then Naruto began his training, which consisted of meditation to improve control. A year has passed since the beginning of the Sharingan training. During this time, Naruto learned to use the 3 tomo and stop the chakra in the eye. In a week, the man who is supposed to teach the young Jinchuriki Mokutan will return from his mission. Naru can't wait for this, because if he gets the legendary genome in addition to the legendary eye, he will definitely be able to fulfill his dream and protect his friends. Comment to Part 5. So, here comes the new chapter. It turned out to be rather boring and short, for which I apologize very much. But the next chapter will be longer than the previous ones and much more interesting, though it may come out a little later, for which I also apologize. Part 6. Great fireball was heard on the training ground and 10 fireballs immediately soared into the sky. Naruto had only recently started learning this technique, but thanks to the clones, he could already make a weak but great fireball. He was about to start making seals again, but he saw Itachi's silhouette flash in the forest next to the training ground. Itachi and Ai-san is rushing somewhere. I'll go and see what happened there, Naruto thought to himself and rushed after Itachi. Naruto was still running in the direction Itachi had gone. He couldn't understand why his Nissan was running so far into the forest. An explosion was heard ahead, and then technicians started flying from there, and the sounds of battle could be heard. Itachi is fighting someone. Damn. I need to help him, Naruto thought to himself and quickened his pace. Itachi was sitting quietly in his house when a raven flew into his window. The crow's summoning, only me and Shursui have it, so something happened to it, Itachi thought and went after the crow. He was already running in the forest when he ran out into a clearing where he saw a dozen root Anbu. Noticing him, their leader gave the order to attack, and at that moment, kunai with explosive tags flew at Itachi. Itachi easily dodged them, but the explosion lightly grazed him. Root Anbu. Damn. Looks like Danzo finally made his move, Itachi thought while doing the seals. Phoenix flowers! Itachi shouted, releasing 17 balls at once, and without the Anbu noticing, he threw shurikens at the balls. Water wall, said a couple of Anbu members, building a wall of water in front of the balls. The water stopped the balls, but shurikens flew out of the balls and immediately hit a couple of Anbu who were holding up the water wall. Wind cutter. 3 Anbu immediately attacked, not even paying attention to the death of their comrades. 3 cutters had almost cut Itachi. Bang! Instead of Itachi, they hit the log, but still one cutter hit Itachi. He didn't even pay attention to it, and began to fold the seals again. Fire Dragon. He released an S-rank technique, which quickly flew at the ANBU. Before it dissipated, the dragon managed to eat 4 ANBU at once. Immediately after that, Itachi, not missing the chance, threw a dozen kunai, which flew across the clearing, and fighting off each other, flew into 2 more ANBU. Itachi looked at the battlefield, but instead of the expected 2, he saw only 1. What? Their leader has disappeared. No time to think, we need to quickly deal with the rest and go to Shursui, Itachi thought, and taking out his tanto, rushed towards the ANBU. With a swift lunge, he knocked the kunai out of his opponent's hands and pierced his heart. Cats was heard somewhere to the left. At that very moment, the body of the just pierced ANBU soldier lit up and exploded. Although Itachi was able to jump away from the epicenter, he still got caught in the explosion and, doing a couple of somersaults on the ground, flew into a tree. Uchiha Itachi, your end has come, the head of the ANBU said, and already raised his tanto, when Naruto had already run up to the clearing when he saw some ANBU guy swinging his tanto at Itachi. Without thinking about anything else, Naru began to make seals. Chidori, the singing of 1,000 birds was heard, and the ANBU soldier's heart was pierced by Naruto's hand. The body fell to the ground with a dull sound, while Naruto looked at his bloody hand in shock. I killed him, Naruto repeated, slowly walking away from the body. Calm down, Naru. Yes, you killed him, but you saved my life. You want to become a shinobi who will save all his friends, so you will have to kill more than once. When you achieve any goal or dream, you always kill someone. You may not know it, or simply not notice, but when you are happy, someone else is unhappy. It is impossible to please everyone, so you will often have to make a choice between your happiness and the happiness of another, Itachi said, hugging Naruto. After sitting like this for about 5 minutes, Naruto finally calmed down and asked Itachi a question. Itachi, why did you run here anyway? Oh damn, I completely forgot about all that. Shursui's summoning raven has flown to me, let's quickly follow it, Itachi said, and ran towards Shursui as fast as he could. Naruto also stood up and ran after Itachi. The two had been running for a very long time, and now they finally ran out to the cliff. Shursui stood on the cliff, his back turned to them. HM? Naruto is here too? Well, that's even better, Shursui said, slowly turning to them. Shursui, what happened? Why did the root attack us? And what? What? What's wrong with your eye? Itachi shouted, seeing the one-eyed Shursui. Danzo made his move. He took my eye and ordered to take the second one. Alas, but I can't run from him forever, so the only thing I can do is trust you, because you are my best friends, Shursui said, tearing out his second eye and putting it in a jar with an incomprehensible liquid. For Naruto, everything that happened here was a real shock. First Itachi was almost killed, then Naruto committed his first murder, and now Shursui. And oh, Shursui brother, please don't do this. Forgive me, Naru, but I've already decided everything. Can you promise me that you won't take revenge on Danzo? No, forgive me, Shursui, but I will kill this creature. Well, that was to be expected, Shursui said, taking out a kunai. Okay, it's time to say goodbye. You've become a new family for me. Itachi, Naruto, I love you, Shursui said, piercing his heart with a kunai and jumping off the cliff. So this is what death is like. I think I see the hand of Shinigami reaching out for me. Forgive me, my brothers, these were Shursui's last thoughts. No. Naruto screamed as the bandage fell off his eye and the tomoe started spinning rapidly. Red chakra started coming out of the blonde. Do you want my strength? The fox asked with a grin. Naruto himself didn't notice how he found himself in front of the cage. Shut up, Naruto shouted emotionally, looking at the fox with his manjikyu. At that moment, the Sharingan was reflected in the fox's eyes and he fell unconscious to the floor, and Naruto came out of the subconscious. Shisui-the Naruto yelled again, but this time he started to dive into the funnel. Itachi's manjikyu also awakened, but he was too shocked to move. After falling into the vortex, another vortex opened up next to Shursui's falling body. at which point Naruto grabbed Shursui and immediately teleported back to Itachi. "Brother Shursui," Naruto said with tears, but not finding his pulse. "Aya," he screamed again. This time he passed out. Commentary to Part 6. Well, here is the 6th part. Sorry for being late, I was preparing for oral Russian. Part 7 Comment to Part 7. Sorry for the delay. In the future, chapters may come out a day earlier or later, but most often on weekends. After what happened, Itachi brought Naruto home and told everything to Kakashi. He was very angry at Danzo, but alas, they could not do anything. A couple of days later, Naruto woke up. Damn, that bastard killed Shursui. I definitely have to get revenge on him, but not now. Of course, I awakened my Manjiki Sharingan back then, and also used its power. Wait. What? It was the nine-tailed fox. But father said that because of the seal, it should sleep until my 13th birthday. Phew, it looks like negative emotions awakened it. This is bad, I haven't learned Mokutan yet, and without it, I won't be able to control the fox. Yes, on October 10th, a certain Uchiha Obito controlled the fox with his Sharingan, but he was an Uchiha. And a couple of days ago, I could only knock him out for a while. I'm still too weak. Uchiha Itachi, I order you to exterminate the Uchiha clan, said the bandaged old man. At that moment, Itachi barely restrained himself from drawing his tanto and beheading the old man. But he knew that he couldn't do that, and he would have to carry out this order. This is what this old man ordered me to do, and I will have to carry out this order. Itachi finished his story. Kakashi stood there stone-faced. This night, the great clan that founded Konoha would fall. Naruto sat on the windowsill and twirled a kunai in his hand. He was incredibly angry. At the Hokage, for not preventing this. At Danzo, for creating this situation. Well, and at himself, for being weak. Naruto sat in a tree and watched the Uchiha clan die. One by one, the Uchiha bodies fell, and the guy in the ANBU mask walked on. Here a girl in a purple hoodie runs out in front of him. This was Itachi's girlfriend Izumi Uchiha. In order not to hurt her, he throws her into a genjutsu, and swings his tanto. "I'm sorry, Izumi," Itachi said. And when the tanto almost reached the girl's body, it was blocked by a kunai. At that moment, the falling body of the girl was caught by a boy who appeared as a Shunshin. "No need, you will be very sad about it," Naruto said. But Danzo allowed only Sasuke to remain. "And will you obediently carry out every order of this bastard? Besides Sasuke, spare Izumi and Mikoto's lives. Because of two Uchiha women who weren't very interested in the coup, it's unlikely that Danzo will do anything." "Okay. Thank you, Naru. I would really be very saddened by the death of a girl and mother," Itachi said, heading deeper into the clan. Naruto watched him for a moment, then turned towards the clan entrance. Sasuke should be here soon. I have to knock him out before that, Naruto thought and ran towards Sasuke. He already saw how a joyful Sasuke was walking towards the clan, but suddenly Naru appeared in front of him and knocked him out. "Now it's all up to you, Itachi." Danzo was angry about Mikoto and Izumi, but he did nothing. Kakashi and Naruto explained everything to them, and they understood and forgave Itachi. He left the village and joined Akatsuki. And the next day Yamato, the man who would teach Naruto Mokutan, returned to the village. Part 8 Comment to Part 8. And here is the new part. As I promised, I am releasing it on the weekend. And since I don't know what else to write here, then enjoy reading. Yamato walked through the streets of Konoha. He had just come from the Hokage, where he had learned that the Uchiha clan had been exterminated. And Naruto Hatake, whom he was supposed to teach, was close to them. Although a couple of people had survived. Mikoto Uchiha, Izumi Uchiha, and Sasuke Uchiha were still alive and, as the Hokage had said, had moved to the house next door to Naruto's. Naruto sat on the windowsill and thought about what had happened. His adopted brother Shursui had died, and Itachi had left the village. He had awakened the Manjikyu, but now there would be no Uchiha to teach him. At that moment, he noticed a person approaching their house. Judging by his clothes, he was a jounin. The Jinchuriki wanted to check who it was and went downstairs. "Oh, Yamato, long time no see." Naruto's father greeted the stranger. At that moment, Naruto remembered that this should be the name of the person who would teach him Mokuton. "Hello, Kakashi-san." Yamato greeted back. "Hello, Yamato-sensei. My name is Naruto Hatake. Please teach me the element of wood." Naru greeted and made a request. "Yes, of course, that's why I came here. I think we can start right away, but you don't have elements like stone or water, which means your Mokuton is a little different from mine. Therefore, to train it, we'll have to use one technique, but because of its size, we'll have to go into the forest." "Okay, then let's go," Naruto said, and together with Yamato they went towards the forest. When they had gone deep into the forest, they stopped in the thicket. "Yamato-sensei, wouldn't it be easier for us to work in the clearing? My technique does not require a clearing," said Yamato and began to form seals. "The world of 1,000 trees," said Yamato, and trees began to form around them until they were completely covered, and from the side a huge ball of trees appeared. This technique was used by Hashirama Senju when he tried to awaken the tree element in his descendants. It is useless in battle, as it strengthens everyone here. "I understand, but what will I have to do?" "Nothing really. Now I'll activate the ball and you'll be attacked by trees. Because of the ball, you'll be constantly healed, and your task will be to understand the trees." "Okay, let's go." Before Naruto could say anything in response, tree roots started flying at him from all sides. They were attacking him all the time, and he was healing. Yamato was sitting and looking at him. And then, when more than 15 hours had passed, the roots that attacked Naruto were stopped by other roots. "Wow, you really did it." "True, it took a little more time than I expected, but that's not bad either." Young Hatake didn't answer him, but just fell down from exhaustion. Yamato smiled, picked him up on his shoulders and carried him towards the house. A couple of years passed with such training. During this time, Naruto was able to master Mokuton at an intermediate level. Also, with the help of training with his father, he was able to master MS a little, although at the moment he can only transfer a couple of kunai or shurikens, or a weak technique, to Kamui. Now he and Sasuke, who was also trained by Kakashi, Yamato and Naruto himself, were going to graduate from the academy. In principle, they were not very worried, since they had long surpassed the level of the academy, but they were worried about what the cruel world of shinobi would bring them. Part 9. Commentary to Part 9. I'm terribly sorry for being late, but alas I can't communicate, so that this won't happen again. This chapter, alas, also turned out to be small, but the next chapter promises to be interesting. Well, that's all, enjoy reading. The exam has begun. Iruka shouted and all the children started to take their papers. Naruto looked around the class. Everyone was working, only Shikamaru was sleeping. Looking at his paper, Naru was surprised. Exactly half of the questions were answered, and the other half were simply ignored. Naruto began to write, but he couldn't do it like Shika right away. After 30 minutes, he finally finished. Phew, I'm more practical after all, Naruto thought, and went to the teacher to hand in the paper. Iruka was surprised, but not much. Gradually, Naruto's clones raised his level in the class, so his rating at the moment was not bad. Okay, Naruto, now go to the training ground, where they will accept your tests and techniques. Our Jinchuriki immediately went outside. While he was walking through the corridors, Sasuke, who had also passed the test, caught up with him. When they went outside, Mizuki immediately approached them. For reasons known only to him, he decided to hand over Sasuke first. Please, young Uchiha, here are the kunai and shuriken, and when you throw them all, your task will be to show any technique of rank C and above. PFF, as if such weak techniques would be good in battle. Even substitution, in order to be used in battle, must be raised to at least rank B, and preferably to A. And Konoha is surprised why such shinobi are weak. With such thoughts, Naruto stood aside and watched his best friend. Sasuke tried for a long time to repeat Itachi's Mitani technique, but so far he can only throw 4 at a time. But still, 10 kunai and 10 shuriken were thrown exactly at the target. Then he folded his pachachi and released a fireball. Mizuki called him, and after signing his sheet, told him to go to the office for a protector. Naruto, having perfected his Mitani, exactly repeated Itachi's technique. Kunai and shuriken, fighting off each other, hit the target. Mizuki only taught Naruto for the first year, so he didn't know his strength and was therefore surprised. Naruto then started doing hand seals until he released a ball lightning at a tree. But Nara noticed that some technique was preventing him from using his chakra normally, but he didn't pay attention to it. Mizuka was very angry, but told him to go get the bandage. When Naruto entered the classroom, the teachers praised him, and our hero himself took the protector with a black bandage and wrapped it up the same way as Kakashi. The teachers said to come tomorrow, and so as Naruto left the academy, he met Sasuke and they went towards Naruto's house to celebrate passing. When Naruto and Sasuke entered, they began to congratulate them. Mikoto almost burst into tears because her son was already a shinobi. Kakashi was very proud that his teacher's son had grown so strong. First, they had a celebratory meal, and then the pair of friends were given gifts to celebrate becoming shinobi. Yamato gave them both a tanto from the land of iron that he had brought back from one of his missions. Izumi and Mikoto gave them umbrella-like clothing, and Kakashi gave them each a storage scroll that Kushina had left behind. Part 10 Naruto and Sasuke were sitting in the office. Iruka was announcing the commands, but our MC was only interested in one. So, now team number 7, Uchiha Sasuke, Naruto Uzumaki and Haruno Sakura, and the mentor will be Hatake Kakashi. Hooray, I'll be with Sasuke-kun. Sakura shouted throughout the entire office. Quiet! Iruka threw chalk at her and continued voicing commands. Naruto and Sasuke only bumped fists, and then the young Jinchuriki went to bed, knowing his father's bad habit. When Naruto woke up, there were only 3 of us left in the classroom. Sakura was looking at Sasuke and whispering something, and Sasuke was throwing and catching a kunai. The door opened and the ash-haired Jounin walked in. When Sakura saw their future mentor, she opened her eyes wide and then turned her gaze to Naruto. To avoid unnecessary questions, I will answer right away, he is my father. Sakura nodded, slightly confused. It's kind of stuffy here, maybe we should go to the roof? Kakashi asked rhetorically, because he had already moved there with his shunshin. Naruto and Sasuke did the same, and Sakura had to run to the roof as fast as she could. Well, tell us about yourself, what you like and don't like, your goals and dreams. Maybe you can set an example for us? Asked a girl on the team. My name is Hatake Kakashi. There are some things that I like and vice versa. There is no goal as such, but a dream. You only said my name. Okay, I'll continue. My name is Sakura Haruno. I love, looks at Sasuke dash. My goal, looks at Sasuke again. Well, my dream. Hee hee. This time a slightly lustful look. Then I will continue, my name is Uchiha Sasuke. I love my family and friends, and I do not like traitors. My goal and at the same time my dream is to find one person. Well, as for me, as a conclusion, my name is Naruto Hatake. As for whether I like it or not, I agree with Sasuke. Well, I haven't decided on my goal and dream yet. Well, not as bad as it could have been, Kakashi thought, but said out loud, tomorrow at the 7th training ground at 8. Tomorrow at 11, Sasuke and Naruto immediately thought. Okay, see you tomorrow. Kakashi and Naruto said goodbye, and then moved with Shunshin. Sakura wanted to say something to Sasuke, but he waved his hand at forgiveness and repeated the action of the 2 Hatakes. Well, Sakura with a sad face wandered to her home. But it's now 11:15, and we should have been at the training ground a long time ago. Yes. This is how the morning dialogue between father and son went. Sasuke also asked me to pick him up on the way. So Sakura is alone there at the training ground. It turns out like this. Okay, let's go get Sasuke and go to the field. Sakura nervously walked around the tree on the training ground. She was annoyed that she was the only one from the team who came by 8. Yo, sorry for being late. Sorry? Sorry? I waited for you for 3 fucking hours. Sakura said, simultaneously swinging at Naruto. Eh? Why me in particular? Well, that's obvious. I won't hit Sasuke-kun, but hitting Sensei would be a bad idea. Pawn Prince, I'm leaving slowly. Okay, everyone's done. Your task for today is to pick up these 2 bells. Whoever doesn't pick them up will fail my impromptu exam. Well? Do you all understand? Then let's begin, Kakashi said, and he took out a book. At the same moment, Naruto and Sasuke took Sakura's hands on either side and used Shunshin. So teamwork is guaranteed. Well, let's see what my son, his best friend, and the young talent of the Iraianin Academy are capable of. 10 minutes later, Naruto jumps out into the clearing, and Kakashi notices Sasuke standing in a fighting stance on the tree. Why didn't you decide to act head-on? I thought you would come up with something better. Don't underestimate us, father! Naruto shouted, and he rushed into battle. Both attackis started with taijutsu, and although Kakashi held back, Naruto felt like he was being pinned down. Hey, then it's time, Naruto thought, and threw 10 kunai and 10 shurikens in different directions. At that moment, shurikens from Sasuke flew straight at Kakashi. Ouch, you should have warned me! Sakura exclaimed, swinging at Naruto. Sakura, be quiet! Sasuke snapped at her. Okay, but why did we all move into the bushes together? Shouldn't we be attacking him? She seems smart, but it seems like she's a bit slow with strategy. We don't have the slightest chance of taking the bells from father in a fair fight. But as I understand it, you already have a plan, right, Naruto? Sasuke asked affirmatively. Damn it! To start with, I think I'll hold out in taijutsu for a couple of seconds, and then Sasuke and I will start shuriken and kenjutsu. I think it's clear that I'll attack, and you'll cover Sasuke. Certainly. A couple dozen kunai and shuriken flew at Kakashi. Thanks to the throwing technique that Itachi taught Naruto, who in turn passed on some of his knowledge to Sasuke, each iron flew from a unique direction. Not bad, Kakashi said, making seals for the replacement technique. A second, and a log appears in Kakashi's place, another second, and this log is torn apart by several dozen throwing weapons. Hey, if that had hit me, I would have died. But you would have dodged it anyway. Naruto's voice was heard from behind Kakashi. At that moment, the Jounin dodged the Tanto, but was not allowed to relax by the kunai that flew from Naruto. Jumping up, he collided with Sasuke's kunai. In order to repel them, Kakashi pulled out a kunai, but when he was able to repel Sasuke's kunai, he landed and collided with Naruto's Tanto. To do this, he took a kunai in his other hand. Great, Sasuke, let's go! Naruto shouted. Wait, what? He achieved something, but what? So, I picked up the kunai and… Oh no! I limited my access to techniques, because I won't be able to make seals. All these thoughts flashed through the elite Jounin's head in a second. The next moment Naruto shimmered and found himself next to Kakashi, making a slashing blow. Kakashi, jumping to the side, almost got fried by a fireball launched by Sasuke. Okay, I understand you, but that won't be enough. Of course, but we need to force him to use both hands with kunai. Why? So that he can't make a single seal, of course. As soon as his hands are busy, we'll start attacking with techniques, giving ourselves an advantage. But why doesn't he just throw away the kunai? It's all very simple here. Technically, we only need a moment when we switch to techniques. If he throws kunai later, he's unlikely to get into the battle tempo anyway. Sasuke, your job is to throw long-range techniques at him, while I'll use close-range attacks. My late friend Shursui created one technique. It's Body Flicker. A technique that allows you to instantly move around the battlefield. My father knows it, but he can't use it without seals. But I, having become a master of this technique, can easily use it without seals. And I was also able to create my own technique based on this. A pair of silhouettes were running around the field. The 2 Hotakis were moving at incredible speeds. The younger ones used a technique for this, but the older one was just so fast. Sasuke, who had neither, used the Sharingan and launched fireballs at Kakashi. Well, I see you've become very fast, Naruto. But even so, I'm still stronger than you. I don't want to admit it, but it's true. By the way, while I was training with Yamato-sensei, I thought of one technique. It's based on body flicker and is the opposite of Hiraishin. Oh, come on, I'm interested in what my son created. At that moment Naruto pulled out a kunai from his pouch. Kakashi immediately noticed that Naruto was directing quite a bit of chakra at it. Naruto then swung and threw it at Kakashi. Shimmering kunai! Naruto shouted, and in that instant the kunai flashed and disappeared. Kakashi felt an unprecedented sense of danger, and he tried to cover himself with his hand with the kunai at all the speed available to him, but the kunai at the same second as it flashed was next to Kakashi, and wounded him in the arm. Impossible. It's like the kunai used body flickering to appear next to me. This technique is incredible, it reaches about rank B. I'm proud of my son. Kakashi didn't allow Naruto to think for long, as he was again next to him. What? Your own equipment? But you didn't say you had one. I don't reveal all my secrets, but alas, you can't get by with just technique, and so I have a couple more. As soon as Naruto was near his father, he tried to make a horizontal strike, but his father dodged it. Naruto, without wasting time, used another shimmering kunai, and at the same time removed the bandage from his eye, where the Sharingan was already burning. Sasuke knew about it, and Sakura from her position could not see it, so Naruto was not worried. Well, father, are you ready to try out my second technique? What? There's another one? What did you think? Having said this, Naruto moves to Kakashi and tries to strike again, but the Jounin dodged again, but this time Naruto, remaining in place, struck towards Kakashi. He sensed danger, but didn't even have time to react. A blow appeared on his chest, which Naruto used in the air. Cough, but how? That's all Kakashi asked? Like a kunai, the tanto flickers and moves from my hand to your chest every second. At that very moment, Kakashi, completely forgetting about Sasuke, received a fireball in his second hand. Well, and then, when he is wounded enough, the final act will begin. Well, now it's time to show you my latest technique. If the previous ones were only B rank, then this one reaches A rank. Don't be offended, father, if you have to lie in the hospital for a couple of days. Kakashi was scared. After seeing the previous techniques, he was afraid of what his son's finishing technique would be. That'll require a little more control, Naruto said as he activated his Manjikyu and began to perform hand seals. Kakashi didn't stand still and rushed to his son. But it was too late. Reverse flash. Naruto shouted and just touched Kakashi with his palm. Kakashi's eyes opened and he flickered. A second. He was gone. A second. Somewhere in the forest, there was a mini explosion. And when he flies off into the forest, it would seem that it will be your turn, Sakura. How did he do that? As far as I understand, he forcibly used body flicker on me. But he sent me into the forest so fast that it exploded. And it seems I'm seriously injured. Damn it, if only I hadn't underestimated him, Kakashi thought, lying in the forest. Sakura ran out of the nearby bushes and stretched her hand towards the bells, but Kakashi quickly jumped and intercepted it. Even if I'm wounded, I'm still a Jounin. Although it wasn't a bad attack, but still, the final attack will be mine. You lost, father! Naruto said cheerfully, holding the bells in his hands. But how and when? Kakashi asked, puzzled. During Sakura's attack, you were distracted, and I used Kamui. I see. Well, who will you give the bells to? The answer is simple, said Naruto, took a bell in each hand, and took Sasuke with one hand, and Sakura with the other. In the end, you all passed. Hooray! Comment to Part 10. Phew, here's the new chapter. As you asked for, longer, but as you noticed, it came out a bit later. I suppose that if I write such long chapters in the future, they will be delayed for a couple of days, so I apologize in advance. Part 11 Commentary on Part 11. I confess I'm sorry I was late. Sorry for that, but in return the next chapters promise to be big and interesting. It's been a month since our team has done D-rank missions. Sasuke and Naruto have been sending shadow clones on missions all this time. Naruto taught Sasuke this technique, but he hasn't mastered it completely, so his limit is 1 clone. Kakashi also sent a clone, and in the end, Sakura was the only one who went on a mission on her own. Here, our 3 are standing in front of the Hokage, and he is choosing a mission for them. What's going on? You're in luck, team number 7. There are no D-rank missions left for today, so I'm giving you a choice. Either you take the day off and wait for the mission, or I'll give you a C-rank mission. Well, I'm already bored of sitting at home. Of course, I trained well, but I want to get combat experience. Naruto answered. I agree with Naruto, because I'm also pretty tired of this. But we're still genin, and we only graduated a month ago. Sakura tried to put in her 2 cents, but... Okay, we have a democracy in our team, so a third opinion is unnecessary. And give us a C-rank mission quickly, Grandpa. Naruto, I'm gonna... But Sakura wasn't allowed to finish because the drunkard entered. No, not entered, but barged into the office. Hokage-sama, when will they give me the command to defend? I need to hurry and build a bridge, and I'm just chilling here. Okay then, team number 7, your new mission is to escort Tazuna to the land of waves. These brats will accompany me? Old man, I've changed my mind. Let's give you a new D-rank mission rather than accompany this drunkard. What? Who are you calling a drunk? Your own protector has slipped over your eye, and your hair is already gray. And indeed, although I can almost completely deactivate the Sharingan, wearing the headband like this has become a habit. And because of training and developing techniques for body flicker, my hair has changed color. Naruto thought about this for a second and was about to say something again, but the Hokage interrupted him. Don't do that, Tazuna-san. This team includes the Uchiha Prince, Sharingan Kakashi with his son, and a medical genius. Hiccup, okay, I still need to get back as soon as possible. Tazuna answered. Then in 3 hours near the Konoha gates. Yes, said the team members and left the office. In 3 hours. A drunk man and a pink-haired girl stood near the gate. Hey, little one. What's your name? Cherry, no. Apple, no. Oak. Right. Oak, do you know where your teammates are? Firstly, I'm Sakura, and secondly, they're always late. And nothing always, just sometimes we are late, said Naruto, who had just appeared. Sakura was about to answer something, but Kakashi, who like Naruto and Sasuke appeared in Shunshin, said that they were already late, and it was time for them to go. The road was going smoothly. Tazuna was talking about something with Kakashi, Sakura was sticking to Sasuke, and Naruto was holding a tanto in his hands and looking at it carefully. To a normal person, it might look like Naruto was looking at something on the tanto, but a shinobi would see the chakra flowing around the blade. At that moment, Naruto was thinking about a new technique he had recently developed. This technique had a very big flaw, and maybe he could come up with a solution to it, but he saw a puddle on the way. It would seem that there is nothing special about a simple puddle, but our Jinchuriki remembered that there had been no rain in this area for a long time. Looking sideways at his father, he saw that he had replaced himself with a clone, and he himself began to move around the neighboring trees. Naruto realized that there was a high probability of an enemy in the puddle, so he hid his tanto and prepared a couple of kunai. He gave a small signal to Sasuke, who also prepared himself. Suddenly, a couple of people jumped out of the puddle, cutting down Kakashi's clone. Haha, this jounin turned out to be easier than we thought, said one of the strangers. I saw you in the wanted flyer on the Hokage's desk. You are demonic brothers Gozu and Meizu. Naruto suddenly remembered. Oh, it's nice that the youth recognize us, although this is the last thing you'll see before you die. Gozu shouted, and the two of them headed towards the team. At this moment, Sasuke makes the seals. Kato, great fireball. The demonic brothers dodge the ball, but kunai with explosive seals fly from its shadow. 3 kunai hit Meizu, which immediately exploded, throwing the burnt carcass aside. Gozu, however, used a substitution and found himself on a tree, and was about to attack our partners, when Kakashi knocked him out from behind. Not bad work, although you still can't fight against multiple opponents. Yes, we already understood, father. By the way, what are you going to do with him? Naruto pointed at Gozu. And now a wonderful land of torture awaits him from the former head of the ANBU, hehe. Naruto and Sasuke shuddered, but they said nothing. And Kakashi took the knocked-out Gozu and went into the forest. For a couple of hours, cries of pain and pleas for mercy could be heard. Now Kakashi came out with a satisfied expression and approached Tazuna. "Hey honey, do you want to explain anything?" "Well, what else could I do? My country is starving under Gado's oppression. The only salvation is a bridge that I won't be able to build, since the shinobi from Konoha abandoned the mission and killed me." At first he tried to justify himself, and then began to press on Gado's pity. "Phew, okay. So, we announce a general vote. Do we go after him or go back?" Sensei asked. "I don't mind defending this drunk, in principle," Naruto replied. Likewise Sasuke supported his friend. "I also want to continue," Sakura answered firmly. Kakashi's eye even twitched. "I think it's going to rain," Naruto said in shock. "Hurricane," Sasuke answered in the same state. "What?" I was also touched by his story. "Okay, then let's continue the mission. Part 12 Commentary on Part 12. And here is the new part. Enjoy reading, everyone. After a couple of chunin, the road passed calmly, although the Konoha shinobi were on guard. And so they approached the river. "A friend of mine will give us a ride," Tazuna said cheerfully. Indeed, there was a boat near the shore, as if waiting for someone. "Tazuna, you're late. Did something happen on the way?" the boatman's dry voice said, but Kakashi and Naruto caught a hint of fear in his voice. "Well, they attacked us, but the shinobi saved us." Everyone got into the boat, and the boatman started rowing. When they reached the other bank and everyone got out, the boatman turned on the motor and sailed away at full speed. "TCH, looks like they set a trap for us here," Kakashi said. And just as Tazuna wanted to ask what he meant, Kakashi and Naruto looked somewhere into the forest, and Kakashi quickly knocked Tazuna down, and Naruto pushed Sasuke and Sakura away. And just in time, at that very second, a blade flew over them and burst into a tree. "Wow, it's the legendary copy named Kakashi," said the shinobi who had just appeared. "This is one of the 7 swordsmen of the Mist Zabuza Momochi," Naruto said in a little shock. And you?" Zabuza looked at Naruto, then at Kakashi, then back at Naruto, then back at Kakashi. "Hey, copying Kakashi, were you copied yourself?" "Hey, actually I'm his son. My name is Naruto Hataki, remember me?" "Okay, everyone back off. This shinobi is too tough for you, even for you, Naruto." "That's right, listen to your sensei, otherwise I can hurt you really bad," Zabuza said and rushed into a blade waltz towards Kakashi. The same one parried Zabuza's blow with a kunai and counterattacked by throwing a kunai with his other hand. Zabuza easily dodged the kunai and made another lunge at Kakashi, but like the first, it went nowhere. Another kunai flew at Zabuza, but when the missing nin blocked it with his kubikuri bochi, a hissing sound was heard from the kunai and it exploded. Zabuza was able to jump back, although he felt that the explosion slightly grazed him. Then they both went to dance. Several dozen iron blows and a couple of explosions were carried out. "Well, I acknowledge your mastery of iron, but you are already on my territory," Zabuza said sarcastically. At first, Kakashi didn't understand what his opponent was talking about, but then he looked down at his feet and realized that they were standing on water. "Now die," Zabuza said, making Seal's water prison. At that very moment, the water around Kakashi began to rise and enclosed him in a sphere. Now then the swordsman held Kakashi with one hand and made seals with the other water clone. "Kill them." The water clone walked towards Team 7. "Fireball!" Sasuke launched the ball at the clone, but he just waved it off and ran towards the team. Naruto ran forward, but one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist was faster, and with a clone of Kubikuri Bochi tried to cut Naruto, but the blow passed through him. The clone looked at the boy in shock and saw that the bandage from his eye was removed, and in its place there was a pattern in his eye resembling a shuriken. The moment the clone was distracted by the Sharingan was enough for Naruto to hit him with the Tanto imbued with lightning chakra. Great, if it weren't for my Manjikyu's ability, I would already be dead. And indeed, this ability will help reduce the effect of that technique, although it's still too early, Naruto thought. Ha, kid, you're not that simple. True, it was just a clone, and I only need one hand to deal with you, Zabuza said, taking his sword. Damn, I can't use the flickering kunai since he's holding the sword like a shield. Is he afraid of me? And I can't use the manjiku that well yet. Okay, I'll try this, Naruto thought, and then he used body flickering and appeared above Zabuza, and launched a flickering kunai out of thin air. Then he moved to the right of Zabuza, and used the same. He did the same to the left. Then he moved to where he was standing and launched a kunai from there as well. All this happened in a second, and in a second the kunai reached Zabuza, but he only fought them off, although a couple were able to injure him. But before they had time to fly away from him, they all hissed at once and exploded. The explosion carried Zabuza to the shore, and the prison dispersed. Thank you, Naruto, I'll do the rest myself, Kakashi said and jumped after Zabuza. It's not over yet. True, this blow was unexpected and strong, but I still have enough strength for one technique. Water Dragon. Zabuza shouted and released the dragon, which rushed at Kakashi. He, in turn, also released the dragon. Although perhaps because of the wounds inflicted on Naruto, perhaps because of the difference in strength, but Zabuza's dragon was smaller, and therefore was swept away by Kakashi's dragon. The dragon struck straight at Zabuza and carried him into the forest. Kakashi went into the forest, but there was no one at the supposed crash site. The Jounin was going to follow him, but passed out without strength or chakra. Naruto hurried to his father, but also fell from overexertion. Commentary on Part 12. The part turned out to be quite interesting, but the next one promises to be better, and that's why it will come out later. Part 13 Commentary on Part 13. I deeply apologize for the delay. I had to hand in the final project, so I didn't have time for fanfic, but I'm alive. This part is more of an interim one, to show that the fanfic is not abandoned, and I will try to release the normal part on the weekend. Where am I? Naruto just woke up, still not recovering from his sleepiness, got out of bed and immediately fell down. Quiet, you, lie back down. You have severe chakra depletion. You shouldn't make any sudden movements yet, said Sakura, who was sitting in the corner of the room and bandaging Kakashi. It's probably because I've exceeded my limit in using Manjiku, Naruto thought, and climbed back onto the bed. After a couple of days, Naruto and Kakashi were able to move well again, so Kakashi decided to have a training session. Since your power levels are different, I will create clones for you and we will work separately. Father, I'm developing a new technique and I think I've figured out the missing ingredient in it, but your clone can only get in the way. Naruto reported right away. Okay, you can go. Just please be careful. Yeah, said Naru and ran into the forest. My specialty is Irionism, so I will also train alone, Sakura said and went to the river. Well, it looks like you and I are left alone, Sasuke. Yeah, and what do you want to teach me, Kakashi-sensei? I'll show you one of my best techniques. I did it myself, and its name is Chidori. Can you show it to me and I'll copy it with the Sharingan? Of course, I can show it, but I can't copy it with a Sharingan, especially one like yours. As he spoke, Kakashi formed hand seals and lightning flashed in his hand. He then quickly dashed towards the tree and pierced it through. Wow, that's something. That's all I can say to Sasuke. A week later. During his training, Sasuke was able to learn Chidori. And although it was weak, it was already the strongest technique in his arsenal. Sakura, during this time, made good progress in Iri Ninjutsu. Naruto, in turn, returned after training beaten and exhausted every time. Also during this time, he was able to change the opinion of Tezuna's grandson, Inari, about the world. That day, Sasuke, Kakashi and Sakura were on duty at the bridge, and Naruto was at Tezuna's house. While the Jinchuriki was meditating, he heard some noise downstairs. When he went down, he saw a couple of bandits break into the house. He killed them in an instant. After all, our main character is the second coming of the body flicker. Naruto realized that there must be a rough fight on the bridge, so he went there. Commentary on Part 13. Sorry again for the delay. Part 14 Commentary on Part 14. Happy World Anime Day, friends, confetti ball partying face party popper. Here's the new chapter. Enjoy reading. Naruto ran, jumping from branch to branch, just to make it in time before something terrible happened. Meanwhile, on the bridge, Kakashi and Sasuke were sitting on the edge of the bridge, and Sakura was restoring the workers' strength. Suddenly, a fog began to fall. Everyone on the bridge immediately realized who this fog belonged to, and so the workers immediately ran away, only Tazuna remained next to Kakashi. Ha ha ha, I'm stronger this time, Kakashi's Sharingan. Especially since I can't see your son, well. That's even better. Haku, deal with those two. Yes, said the boy standing next to Zabuza and rushed into battle with Sasuke and Sakura. Sasuke, I'll leave this little one to you, Sakura, protect Tazuna, and Kakashi didn't have time to finish speaking when Zabuza pounced on him. Zabuza and Kakashi charged, but a special technique of the Mist Swordsman allowed them to cover their swords in water under certain conditions, which greatly increased its effectiveness. This time, Zabuza had the advantage, and Kakashi had to retreat. Haku then attacked Sasuke. At first they threw iron at each other, but Sasuke quickly realized that it was useless, and so he launched a fireball at Haku, but he created a wall of ice that protected him from the fire. Damn, his ice doesn't even melt. This kid is a strong Chunin, if not Jounin. Meanwhile, Sakura used her medic ninjutsu and healed Sasuke. Well, I won't disgrace myself and will show you my strength, Sasuke said, and having folded the seals, flew at Haku with Chidori. Haku was fast, so the technique didn't go over well, but even so it inflicted a fatal wound. Cough, Haku coughed up blood. This is not the end yet. Then he sat in the lotus position and began to make seals with one-hand ice imprisonment. After this technique, walls of ice began to rise around Sasuke, and then they formed a sphere. Explosions were heard from the inside, which clearly came from Katon techniques, but they did not produce any visible results. It looks like my end is coming soon, but I will try to help you as much as possible, Zabuza-san, Haku said, and began to fold the seals again, only with his other hand ice coating. As soon as Haku said this, he closed his eyes, leaving the last of his strength to support the techniques. Due to Haku's last technique, Zabuza's body was covered in ice armor, and his sword was also covered in ice. Well, now I have no right to lose. With this cloak, with this power, I am the strongest here, Zabuza said, and began to fold the seals for the water dragon. Kakashi also made seals, and again faster, and when the two dragons flew, Zabuza's dragon was covered in ice, and grew twice as big, thereby simply sweeping away Kakashi's dragon along the way. As soon as Zabuza's dragon reached Kakashi, it blew him away with great force straight into Haku's prison. At this time Naruto arrived on the bridge, and the first thing he saw was his father flying into the wall at a very high speed. As the smoke from the impact cleared, the Jinchuriki saw his bloody father. "No!" Naruto shouted and rushed towards Zabuza. "Ha! With this coating you can't do anything to me," Zabuza said, and simply brushed off Naruto's attack. "Damn, he's too strong, and his father is already knocked out. Phew, this technique can kill him. But with it there's a high chance that I'll kick the bucket here too. Well, the choice isn't great, especially since I still have a lot of chakra. I can use MS to its full potential," Naruto thought, and taking off his bandage jumped in front of Zabuza. He just stood there, thinking that with this cloak he was invincible. And indeed, an aura of death emanated from him, as if he really was a demon. Naruto stood up, activated MS and pointed the tanto towards Zabuza. He then concentrated very hard, and you could see with the naked eye how chakra just burst out of Naruto's tanto. 1,000 blows, our main character shouted, but at first nothing happened. Suddenly Naruto's blade flashed, and a small cut appeared on Zabuza's chest, as well as on Naruto's cheek. "Ah-ha-ha-ha. And that's all you can do?" But suddenly Naruto's tanto flashed twice in a row, and 2 cuts appeared on the chest of the swordsman of the mist. "Huh!" Zabuza said in confusion, but suddenly Naruto's tanto flashed again, this time 10 times in a row. The blows were much stronger, and they already forced Zabuza to take a step back, but in the meantime the blows also injured Naruto. But as soon as Zabuza wanted to do something, the Tanto began to flash faster and faster, and inflicting a wound deeper and deeper. Blood gushed from Zabuza, pieces of his flesh were torn off and flew away, but the Tanto continued to flash. The swordsman of the mist was already long dead, but Naruto could no longer stop the technique, and therefore the blows shook what was left of Zabuza. The space itself began to distort from these blows. And after 1,000 blows, the Tanto remained in place. All that was left of the mist swordsman was a blood stain. All of his flesh had been destroyed, as had his sword. Haku also could not remain in this world and died, and the technique disappeared after him. Hooray, we won! Sasuke and Sakura rejoiced. You are still strong, Naruto, they said, but instead of an answer they heard the sound of a Tanto falling. Turning towards Naruto, they saw how his entire body was covered in severe cuts. Then Naruto himself fell unconscious. Commentary on Part 14. As you have already seen, I have begun to change the world much more, so I warn you that this will happen in the future. Part 15 Commentary on Part 15. Phew, here's the new chapter. Sorry again for the delay. You know, I thought I'd take a break after the Chunin exam so I could write chapters in advance and post them without delay. Enjoy reading. Naruto slowly opens his eyes and sees a white ceiling in front of him. This smell, am I in Konoha's hospital? But how, I was in another country. Finally woke up, said Kakashi, sitting on the window. Father? But what are we doing here? After you used that technique, you were seriously injured, but Sakura was able to quickly patch you up. But you were still on the verge of life and death, so we had to rush here at full speed. A month ago, you were admitted to the hospital, and in order to avoid complications, your full recovery took place under anesthesia, but now you are full of strength. But still, the technique you killed Zabuza with was recognized as an S-rank technique, and also forbidden, so don't even think about using it again. Yes, of course. In fact, I have been developing this technique for some time, but I have already realized that it is impossible to avoid injuries with it. By the way, if you think about it, the Chunin exam is coming soon. Will you recommend our team? I already have, after all, your level with Sasuke is already at Chunin. The exam itself will start tomorrow, so don't be late. After this phrase, Kakashi used Shunshin and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Okay, I'll go for a walk around the village for now. Naruto jumped out the window and went for a walk along the streets of Konoha. Passing by one gateway, he heard a child's cry. Going there, he saw how the grandson of the third Hokage was being held by some kid. What kind of clown is holding the third's grandson? And behind him. My God, I've never seen anyone more beautiful. Behind this guy is a blonde with 4 pigtails and incredible beauty. But there's something else. There's an evil chakra on the tree, similar to the Kyuubi's chakra. Ahem, you, painted one, put down the Hokage's grandson. Huh? What? Are you going to do something to me? The painted one asked mockingly. Naruto, instead of words, pulled out 2 kunai and, using the shimmering kunai, threw one at the painted one, so that his cheek was scratched, and threw the second one at a tree. The painted one fell from surprise, and sand flew from the tree, which swirled in front of Naruto, revealing a red-haired boy. Name, the red-haired man said firmly. Haven't they taught you any manners? Before asking someone's name, you should introduce yourself. My name is Gaara no Dog. And these are my brother and sister Kankuro and Temari. Aha, so this beauty's name is Temari. My name is Naruto Hataki. I see, well then, I'll wait for our next battle, said the Sandman and spun around in a sand whirlwind. Temari's thoughts. My annoying brother was picking on some kid. But suddenly some ash-haired handsome guy appeared in front of us. Ah, he's so handsome. What? I didn't even see the kunai he threw fly. He's so strong, and he noticed Gaara. So his name is Naruto. Great, I'll wait for our next meeting. Part 16 Commentary on Part 16. And here is the new part. By the way, Are you watching the Naruto marathon on 2x2? I don't know what else to write, so enjoy reading, everyone. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were walking down the hallway to the Chunin exam. Further down the hallway, they saw a crowd of genin. As they approached, they saw a couple of genin preventing the crowd from entering the room. "Let me through!" shouted the thick-browed man in green tights. "Yo, Lee. It's been a while, but what are you doing near this office? This isn't even the same floor." Naruto greeted his friend right away. They met Lee when Kakashi asked Guy to train Naruto, and they met during their joint training. Ha! And this son of Kakashi understood everything right away, thought to himself Kotetsu, who was pretending to be one of the genin. "Oh, Naruto-kun. Indeed, it's been a while since we've seen each other. Ha! And here we play along with them, because I have a Hyuga on my team, and they understand that right away." And when these words were said, Niji and Tenten came out from the crowd. "So it's you, Uzumaki Naruto. Hello to you too, Hyuga Niji." An invisible lightning flashed between these two, because during training they often met, but the outcome of their fights was always not whose. "Okay, Naruto, Sasuke, let's go already, otherwise we won't have time to fill out the paperwork." "Well, Rock, Niji, I would like to fight you in the exam." "Likewise," answered the teammates. When our trio entered the right office, Yamanaka Ino immediately jumped on Sasuke. But he, in turn, simply took her off himself. "So you're here too?" said Shikamaru, who had just arrived. Behind him stood Chuji and the entire team of 8. "Hello, hello," said some ash-haired bespectacled guy, approaching our heroes. "And who are you?" Sasuke asked immediately. "My name is Yakushi Kabuto. I am a genin of the leaf just like you, but this is already the 7th time I've been here." "7th, huh? So this exam will really be a pain in the ass," Shikamaru said, his favorite phrase. "By the way, I've gathered some information here. I can share it with the Kois," Kabuto said with a kind smile. "Then, give me information about Yakushi Kabuto," Naruto said, because his father often brought home exam papers to fill out, and he didn't remember anything about this genin. Kabuto was about to say something, but a genin from the Hidden Sound village attacked him. Yakushi was able to dodge, but somehow the blows still hit him, breaking his glasses. "So, who allowed you to show your teeth before the exam?" a tall man in a black cape and headband yelled. Everyone immediately realized that he was the examiner at this stage. "Sorry, boss, it's just that this is our first exam, so we're nervous. We don't mean to be mean." "Well, okay then, everyone, quickly to your places. There will be 9 questions on the form, and I will ask the 10th one 15 minutes before the end of the exam. You have 10 points in total, and for each wrong answer 1 point will be taken away from you. If someone has 0 points left, then the whole team is eliminated. Also, if you are caught cheating 5 times, then you are also eliminated. Is everyone clear? Then let's begin." Naruto sat and calmly looked at the piece of paper. The questions are clearly not for the genin level, and honestly, besides me and Sakura, only a couple of people will answer here. So, in essence, this is an exam to see who can copy better. Ha, and look, Sasuke has already started copying the movements of one of the sent Chunin with his Sharingan. So, Hinata seems to know the answers too and writes them calmly, but her cousin uses the Byakugan, judging by the swollen veins around his eyes. Kiba and Shino use their so-called pets. And Rock and Tenten are playing with mirrors. The red-haired one from Suna is playing in the sand, and his brother with dolls. Oh, that's Tamari. What? She seems to have problems. She's from another village and I shouldn't help her, but still. Oh well, how can I not help such a beauty? Naruto thought and began to write the answers on the piece of paper. He then used body flicker on the leaf and it appeared in front of Tamari. She was surprised, but looked at the leaf and was happy. Looking for her savior, she noticed Naruto's gaze. Realizing that it was him, she smiled warmly at him and said, "Thank you." Naruto smiled back and waited for question 10. 45 minutes later, Hibiki Marino said, "It's time for the last question, but before that I want to make a change to the rules. You can refuse to answer it, but if you do, you will have to leave here with the whole team." "What stupid rules?" "Then everyone will answer to it." Someone from the audience shouted. "I haven't finished yet. Those who answer it incorrectly will have to remain genin once and for all." What? But there are those here who are not taking this exam for the first time. Kiba shouted. Yes, but this year you got me. Ibiki finished. After that, many teams began to leave the hall, and after 10 minutes, Ibiki said, Ha, okay, I think that's enough. All those who remained here you passed. But before you say anything, I will answer you. No matter how difficult the mission, a shinobi must complete it anyway, and those who do not have determination are not worthy of being chunin. Equals 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 break equals 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 equals. Guys, I have no forgiveness, but I will have to take a break for a while. I have my first exam OG, and I will try to completely immerse myself in preparing for it, so I think I will return at the beginning of summer. But in return I promise to release several cool chapters at once in the interval of a couple of days. Well, see you later _ equals 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 part 17 equals 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 equals. As soon as Marino Ibiki finished his speech, Enko literally flew into the audience. Okay, brats, I'll be the examiner for the second stage. The second stage involves surviving in the Forest of Death. I think you all know. Indeed, rumors about this field are going around the village, as if it were a one-way road. But judging by the fact that the village sends genin there, this place is not so scary. Before Naruto could finish his thought, Enko continued. And you know, all these rumors about this field are true. She giggled and disappeared into the shunshin. When all the teams started to come out, Temari approached Naruto. Thanks for helping me, Naruto-kun. Hey, you're welcome, Temari-chan. Temari, let's go already, Kankuro said. Temari just waved her hand at Naruto and went after her brothers. Well, the rules are quite simple. You must reach the tower in the center of the training ground in 3 days, having the scroll of heaven and earth with you. You will receive one of them now, and how to get the second one, I think you can guess yourself. Enko gave her speech. Naruto already knew the rules, so he didn't really listen to Enko. She, noticing Naruto's inattention, threw a kunai at him, but the Jinchuriki only ducked his head, dodging the kunai. Ha, looks like this is Kakashi's son, and he's no slouch, Enko thought, but suddenly her kunai returned to her, but in the language of the grass team's sensei. It seems you've been hurt, the sensei hissed. Yeah, thanks. The examiner didn't pay much attention to this strange guy. Sasuke went to get the scrolls and received the sky scroll. So we need land, okay, I think we'll run into someone on the way, thought Naru, and headed to the gate. After 15 minutes, the whistle blew, signaling the start of the second round. The gates opened and all the genin rushed in. Team 7 ran through the forest at full speed. Sasuke and Naruto tried to find the enemy with their Sharingans, and then, ahead, they saw the rain genin. Jumping out into the clearing, they saw that the raincoats were already waiting for them. Before we start the fight, let's show our scrolls so as not to waste time, said the rain genin, starting to unzip his pouch. Sasuke also unzipped his pouch. And 3 seconds later they simultaneously showed their scrolls, and it so happened that the hieroglyphs on them were different. As soon as the other team members saw this, they rushed into battle, giving their teammates time to hide the scroll. Naruto crossed blades with one of the rain genin. Naruto lunged, delivering a vertical strike, but this genin was not so simple and managed to dodge the strike, counterattacking, but his strike also did not hit Naruto. When both genin landed on the branches, they threw kunai at each other. Only Naruto's kunai turned out to be with an explosive seal. The explosion itself went nowhere, but its waves swept the rain genin off his feet. The Jinchuriki did not miss this chance and delivered a direct strike to the enemy's heart, piercing it. Pushing off the corpse, he landed on a branch to look at his teammates, only to grin cheerfully. Sakura cut the arteries of the second rain genin with a chakra scalpel that she learned not long ago. Sasuke, on the other hand, burned the mud clones of his opponent and pinned him to a tree with a kunai. Ha, good job. Now we should hurry up and head to the tower, Naruto said. I agree, I don't think we'll run into anyone along the way, since we got 2 scrolls very quickly. Sasuke agreed, thinking, I wish I could agree with you, friend, but I have a feeling that the path won't be that easy, Naruto said, already with a serious face. An hour later they had covered half the distance when Naruto yelled. to the side, pushing his teammates aside along the way. At that moment, he was knocked down by a huge snake, which carried him further into the forest. Naruto, Sasuke shouted, but there was no answer. "Don't even try, my snake has already swallowed it," hissed the grass examiner who had just appeared. "What do you want from us? And anyway, examiners shouldn't be here," Sakura intervened. "Oh, don't worry, I won't be long. Sook, come with me, and then you can take revenge on him, the one who took everything from you." Is he really talking about Itachi? But Anai-san didn't do it of his own free will. Which means we need to quickly deal with this little snake and go after Naruto, Sasuke thought, taking a kunai out of his pouch and activating his Sharingan. What? I don't see hatred in his eyes. This is bad. Very bad. But I thought this through too, I just need to instill hatred in him. Meanwhile in the forest. Take that, shimmering kunai. Dozens of kunai pierced the snake, and it disintegrated into a haze. We need to get to our teammates quickly. I have a really bad feeling about this. Commentary on Part 17. Yo, I'm back. As you've already seen, the fun begins. Part 18 Commentary on Part 18. Well, here is the new part. I don't know what to write, so enjoy reading. Explosion. The blast wave threw Sasuke and Sakura back. Damn, even though I got stronger during my training with Kakashi-sensei and Naruto, this guy is on a whole other level, Sasuke thought as he dodged another aerial attack. Cuckoo, you're not bad, Sasuke-kun, but you're far from me. But what do I see? Don't you really want to avenge your clan? Orochimaru asked with the face of a Kusa shinobi, folding seals. Instead of answering, Sasuke launched a huge fireball at the Sannin, and threw a dozen kunai and shuriken at him. Orochimaru only smiled at this and released a huge wave of water that swept away both Sasuke's flames and his shurikens, as well as the nearby trees. But Sasuke knew that this attack of his would bring nothing, so as soon as the wave subsided, Sasuke landed next to the Sannin with Chidori in his hand. Orochimaru extended his arms, grabbing Sasuke's hand with Chidori at the elbow, then threw him with all his might into a tree, but he did not stop at one and pierced at least 5 trunks before falling down. Cuckoo, and yet you were too weak, Sasuke. Although, you know, your brother isn't so good either. If he hadn't caught me in Genjutsu then, who knows what the outcome would have been. What did you say about my brother? Sasuke barked. Standing up again. Ha, I knew it. If she doesn't hate him, that means she still loves him. Your brother is a nobody. Everyone calls him a genius, but in reality he is just a child who was given power by luck. He could not have achieved it on his own. Sasuke had already fully stood up, looked at Orochimaru with his eyes, then closed them, and when he opened them again, the 3 Tomoya Sharingan was already burning in them. He began to slowly walk towards the Sannin and folded seals, saying along the way, "Don't you dare open your mouth to a power that you yourself couldn't obtain. And what's more important, don't you dare open your mouth to my brother." When Sasuke finished speaking, Raikiri with maximum power sparked in his hand, and then it shimmered and appeared behind Orochimaru, striking him in the back. The point of contact exploded, and the Sannin was thrown to the ground with unprecedented force. Sasuke, with his last strength, held on to the branch, and then lay down on it. Damn, both of these techniques take all my strength, and using them at the same time is downright deadly. How did I manage to do that? Well, at least that person should be dead. Before Sasuke could finish his thought, he felt someone standing behind him. He didn't have the strength to get up or jump back, so he only glanced at who it was, but what he saw made him open his eyes wide. In front of him stood the grass mentor. Although it was already difficult to recognize him, half of his skin had peeled off, and under it was a pale guy with purple marks under his eyes. Cuckoo, you're not bad, Sasuke-kun, not bad at all. To make me shed my skin, you'd have to try. Although even so, you're just a midge that bit me lightly. It's impossible. I used Kakashi-sensei and Naruto's techniques. But even so, he's unharmed. He really is a monster. Orochimaru just smiled at this and began to slowly approach Sasuke, who was so exhausted that he couldn't even move. Then a couple of kunai flew in front of Orochimaru, and a pink-haired girl with a chakra scalpel in her hands flew at him. He just chuckled at this, knocking her out with one movement. And now he was already approaching Sasuke. Well, since you don't have hatred, we'll energize it. Summoning technique. Death Snake. A translucent white snake appeared behind Orochimaru. Kukukuku. If the summoner's soul is needed to summon the death god, then offerings will suffice for this snake. Of course the effect is weakened, but I don't need the full one. Death Snake technique. Desecration of the soul. Destruction of emotions. The snake flew up and fell on Sasuke, biting him. His soul immediately became visible, simultaneously turning black and collapsing in some places. The snake flew away from Sasuke, and Orochimaru unsealed the carcasses of the dead shinobi from the scroll. The snake immediately swallowed them, simultaneously disappearing. Well, we continue our ritual. Snake technique. Snake genjutsu. Hatred. The snakes crawled out of the Sannin's sleeves and dug into Sasuke's head, beginning to disintegrate in chakra, and one crawled into his mouth. Well, to finish it off, the curse seal. Here Auric himself extended his neck, digging into Sasuke's neck, and the place where he dug was immediately covered with a seal in the form of a tomo. Well, that seems to be all. This turned out to be more difficult. I even had to summon the death snake. So, now all that's left for me to do is take you, Sasuke, and make you the perfect vessel. Orochimaru was already reaching for Sasuke, but then Kunai immediately dug into his hand. That wasn't the end of it, and scratches from the sword began to appear on the Sannin, and finally Naruto kicked him with all his might, sending the snake Sannin into the trunk of another tree. "Don't you dare touch my friend, freak!" Naruto said angrily, standing next to Sasuke with his Sharingan activated. "Kuku, this could be more interesting than it seemed," Orochimaru said and rushed at Naruto.